In this video, I'm going to talk about how you should prepare for your exam. This is based on my own experience. It's based on experience of people that I've trained. A lot of people who have passed the exam after taking up our training have come back and given some feedback on how they prepared for the exams, what their fears were, and so on. And based on this, I'm going to give you some recommendations. The first recommendation that I would give you as far as preparing for the exam is concerned is to set a target date to take the exam. Now, this is, according to me, one of the most important steps. What I've seen is that people who take up training, who go through videos or who take up classroom training, keep on delaying this particular step of setting a target date, or they don't have a clear idea of when they want to take the exam. When that happens, slowly things keep getting postponed. So they probably think that they will do it next week or 2 weeks from now, and so on and so on and so on. And it keeps going. And finally, they end up not taking the exam. And if the duration or the gap between you taking your classes and taking your exam becomes larger, and you have not practiced in between, you lose confidence. So the first thing is set the date. Go ahead and, depending on your own attitude, you can set up an aggressive date, or you can set up what you think is a realistic date. My own view is, after you take the training, after you complete all the videos, you should take up the test within 4 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks, I think, is the maximum amount of delay that can be tolerated. Of course, within this 4 weeks, you should keep on practicing. So be realistic of the date, but ensure you set yourself a target date. And if needed, go ahead and book an exam. This will, of course, put a lot more pressure on you because you have to spend $150 to book the exam. And since you have already spent the money, you have no choice but to prepare for the exam. You can take whichever route you want. You can wait and prepare for a couple of weeks before setting up the exam date, or you can go directly and set up the exam date. It depends on how you want to do it. But please set a clear target on when you want to take up your exam. Once you've set up a target, the second part is, how do you prepare? Well, the preparation will span multiple types. The first, of course, is watch the videos that are there in this particular course. If you need to do training with somebody teaching you, then attend that training. Do all the labs, because that will give you a lot of clarity, especially whenever there are labs of complex pieces, like say VPC. So if you have labs of VPC, you have to do it on your own. Don't look at the lab guide. Go ahead, do it on your own and check if you are able to understand the whole concept. Because when you do it with a lab guide, you may do it blindly and you may not understand it as deeply as is required to take up the exam. So do the labs and try doing the labs without the help of a lab guide. Then take the quiz. We have given a fairly extensive quiz with a lot of questions, very realistic questions, which test your understanding of the subject deeply. So take this quiz, find out how you are doing in this quiz. And if you want to, you can always take an AWS practice exam, which is available. You have to pay some money for that, and you can take that if you want. Another important thing when you're preparing is to read some of the documents that Amazon gives, especially the security document, the architecture best practices document. Do go through all the documents. Of course, as part of the videos, we have given the essence of these documents, but you may also want to read them. And read the white papers that Amazon publishes, right? And these are the ones I indicated are white papers. There are documents there for every service, so you may want to read the document for every service on this. Which leads to the next point. Are you prepared enough for the test? This is a question which everybody seems to ask themselves. And I've had many people telling me that, sir, I don't think I'm yet prepared. I need to prepare more. That is the key thing. You must know when to stop, because you can get paralyzed by analyzing your preparation. You can go ahead and keep on analyzing, saying that I don't know this, I don't know this, I don't know this. And that would lead you to slowly postpone the date at which you want to take an exam, and finally lead you not to taking it. So you have to be very clear, when is the preparation enough? Remember this, if you keep on digging into the documents of Amazon, it's like an unending thing. Amazon has some of the best documents that you can find of any software company. The documents are huge. They are overwhelming. So one thing you can do is to go look at the FAQ, that's the frequently asked questions, find out certain things, and only enter documents where certain things are not very clear for you. Or you can rewatch some of the videos to get the clarity. But remember, you will never ever be able to master every one of the services that Amazon gives, because there are so many of them. So you must be very realistic in this case of saying, yes, I think I know enough to attend the exam. Because there have been a couple of people, as I said, who came back and said they're not sure if they were ready. Then I gave them a set of questions of my own. When they answered, I could realize that they understood what was going on. So I told them that you are ready, you can go ahead and attend this. So if you have friends who have already cleared, maybe you want to bounce some question answers with them and get their feedback if needed to do this. But remember, don't get paralyzed about the preparation. You can never be thoroughly prepared, but you can be thoroughly prepared. That be clear on that. Otherwise, this will lead you to keep postponing the exam date. Another important thing is to understand the basics very well. So some people generally think that, you just go ahead, try getting some questions, sample questions from the web, getting from here, there, and answering these questions and practicing these questions are enough. The truth is, you don't need any of these questions if you understand the basics of every service that Amazon gives. Understanding the fundamentals is very important, and the whole video series here is to try and make you understand this fundamental. The fundamentals are the most important things, and concentrate on that. Don't concentrate too much on the exam part alone and try to solve questions from outside, and then you start feeling, oh, I didn't know this answer, and so on. But rather concentrate on the fundamentals, and if you are very clear of the fundamentals, you'll find that many questions are easy for you to answer. And a final tip which I want to give is to not give up. I have seen many people, at least 25% I would say of the people who have passed the test, whom I know who have cleared this, have passed it the second time. Basically, they have failed the first time, but they never gave up. They failed it, and immediately, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks from then, they gave it the next time they passed. Because they know when they give the test that they got, say, 58%, 60%, something like that, and they just missed by a question or two, and they also understood how the pattern of the question, pattern of the test was, and they went ahead and cleared it. So don't lose heart. I, of course, would wish that you clear it the first time, prepare and get that cleared. But in case that doesn't happen for whatever reason, please ensure that you don't give up on this and that you go take it again the next time. I'm more than certain that you will clear the exam. So that's what I wanted to tell you about preparing for the exam. Then another video I'll explain how to attend the exam and how to attempt the questions in the exam. We'll see more in the next video. Thank you.